From Mamamia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Ksenija Lukic.
And I'm Laura Brodnick.
And we have a very, very exciting episode today to celebrate 70 years of Disneyland Resort magic. And it's going to be all about Disney. And I'm very excited. Laura's very excited. And we're not ashamed to say that we are Disney adults.
Yes. There's no wrong way to be a Disney adult, but the way I identify as a Disney adult is that I watch the Disney movies constantly on a loop and with no children present, and I listen to the Disney soundtracks over and over and over again, and I love to go to Disneyland. I know people do it different ways. That's my
Okay. So my very first experience at Disneyland, I never went as a kid. I've only been one time, and it was always a dream of mine growing up. And when I was 21, I went to the States. I said to my girlfriend, I was like, I really, really want to go to Disneyland. She's like, I've been so many times, I don't really want to go. And then the boy that we were hanging out with said, I'll take you. So I went on a first date to Disneyland.
It was the most romantic thing I have ever heard.
And we kissed under the fireworks.
Those fireworks should be borderline illegal, because if you've been in a Disneyland park, the fireworks at the end of the night, if anyone asked me to marry them, no one has yet, but if anyone did, I would say yes, even if a total stranger. There's no more romantic moment. And I also think it's nice to go, obviously going as a kid is so amazing, but going as an adult for the first time, because I did the same thing. Like there was no way my mum could afford to take 4 kids to Disneyland. So I saved up all my money from my first job and I went to the one in Tokyo, and I remember just getting off the subway platform and hearing Taylor's Oldest Time, and I just started running because I'm like, I'm home. It's like the mothership calling me home.
It was so magical. It was like the best first date ever. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, because you didn't end up marrying that guy, which I feel like is a mistake on your behalf.
Well, no, this is the thing. Like Dan and I were on a break, like very Ross and Rachel, and it was just like I only saw this guy for like 2 seconds. It was very quick, but it was a really romantic date.
Sometimes it's nice to have someone that you just had one perfect date with, and it just sits as this little like perfect moment in your life.
It was like, yeah, very special to me. But so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our favorite Disney movies, and we're going to mostly talk about like your Disney classics. So there's not going to be like Frozen or Tangled or any of that stuff.
Although love those, but would be here for 6 to 7 hours, which to say we both asked if we could do a podcast marathon for 10 hours. That was vetoed.
Yep.
So we're doing Disney classics.
We did, we had a very stern talking to about like cutting back our selects.
Well, is there a bad Disney movie? That's what I want to know. Not on this list, that's for sure.
Not on the list that we've got. But I just want to quickly, so we've got some rules, right? We're not doing any Disney Pixar because obviously that's a bit later. And I want to quickly just do a very quick history lesson. So we've got our golden age, which is like when it first started. So we've got 1937, Snow White, first full-length feature film. We all know that that's the story. We've got like Sleeping Beauty, which is in like 59. Then there was like when Walt died in 1966, it was kind of like this big lull in the production, and it was very, very close to closing the studio. Then the magic happened, which is the renaissance of Disney, which is, as many millennials will know, like the peak of Disney, which is like 89 to 99. And that's kind of mostly what we're going to be focusing on today. So Laura, do you want to go first?
Yes, because actually I'm taking us right back to the beginning, as you mentioned, with the very first big Disney movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So that movie came out in 1937. I wasn't currently alive at that time. Can you believe it?
You look beautiful for being born in 1937.
It's the magic of Disney. It's kept me young in like a wicked witch kind of way. But I just have a visceral memory of watching that movie as a kid and how freaking magical it was, and the animation. And I know some people look back on it now and like obviously the animation isn't as high tech as what we see now. But that was the movie, as you're saying, that started it all. And I just love the idea that Walt Disney wanted to make this big animated movie that could play in cinemas, that could stand up to like an action movie or something, you know what I mean? That could stand, and like that adults would want to see it at the same time as kids. And everyone said it couldn't be done. No one's going to see that. It's not going to make any money. And then it became such a success, such a box office hit, made so much money. And every movie that we have now is because of that. But I also think it's just a very sweet, lovely movie. And also quite terrifying. Like, don't you think the witch in that movie is one of the scariest Disney villains?
Some of them are very, very scary. And now that I watch it back with Mike, like some of the original movies with my kids, I'm like, oh, this is actually terrifying.
Yeah. When she runs through the woods from the huntsman, this is what I mean. Disney movies, high stakes. Runs through the woods and she falls through all of the trees and the storm and everything. And then also when the Wicked Queen changes.
No, when she's like the Wicked Queen and she turns to the old lady and she comes to the window and she's like, hello.
That is, even from the live action, that was when you see the live action with Rachel Zegler, when you see the witch slowly walking up towards the little cottage. I was like, that is the scariest scene of a movie this year. And I think goes to show that practical effects always better than any kind of CGI stuff. And I also think the original Disney songs are just really beautiful. Like Whistle While You Work, Someday My Prince Will Come, really sweet. And also, I think a lot of people don't like that the prince doesn't get a lot of airtime in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Like, you see him briefly at the start. He comes along at the end, he kisses her, and that's it. And I actually think that's great. Let's decenter men from our lives.
But I think it's also, I think it's like he was the original Prince Charming. Like, this is the first time we got like that trope, right? That really wasn't the thing. Speaking of which.
Yes.
My one.
Okay.
Moving on from there, we're going to like Sleeping Beauty, which I know is also maybe.
Oh my God, I love Sleeping Beauty. Even though Princess Aurora has, 3 minutes of dialogue all up? I don't care because she looks great. She looks great.
Like, it's amazing that the end bit with the fairies and then changing red, blue. That was just, and the cake scene. But the thing that makes me the most nostalgic about that movie is my dad used to wake me up in the morning with the Once Upon a Dream song.
That is such a classic. Oh my God, that's a big song in my family as well, because my sisters and I sing it all the time. And my brother always pretends that he doesn't love Disney movies as much as we do. But one day my sister was singing in her room and the bit where the prince comes in, my brother burst through the door and sung through the whole thing. We still reference it to this day. That's a banger of a song.
It's a beautiful song, and it just like makes me like, it's just like very nostalgic for me. It makes me think of home and the red, make it blue, make it pink, make it blue. And the cake, like, have you seen people make those cakes for their wedding cakes?
Yes. That's what everyone should have at their wedding.
I loved that. And the brooms, it's a really good, like, that was kind of the first introduction.
And also high stakes if we're getting into the storytelling side of it. Because you have some Disney movies you're just like, oh, this is going to be fine. But I think watching Sleeping Beauty as a kid, like, the danger feels real.
Also, Maleficent was scary.
Great villain. And just everything about how they always use that lime. You know how like every Disney villain has the lime green around them to signify that they're the evil one? That moment where she turns into the dragon and she comes up and just great. And very romantic dance at the end.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. Oh my God, it was so hard to pick just a few movies.
I know,
can I tell you, out of all my, no one who is my boss listen to this, out of every huge work thing I've got to do this week, this is the most difficult. Right?
I actually, when it was mentioned that we were doing this, I said that if I wasn't going to be on this episode that I would revolt.
I'm like, you just smashing the door down. I would love to see that.
Like, I was like, I need to be in
the Disney episode,
particularly because it's come back into my life in such a big way now that my kids are old enough to be watching.
That's so cute.
But what is now that we're entering the Renaissance period?
Well, yes, it's good that you bring that up because this movie is credited with kicking off the Disney Renaissance. So as a child, I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought Disney had banger after banger after banger, but this was like that next big swell of animation. And it is The Little Mermaid, which came out in 1989. And I think there's just something about that movie is just, even to this day when I watch it, I get a chill. It's so magical and otherworldly, and like the action sequences great. And I also just love how they were able to take a story that was so dark and so like brutal. Like, do you know the real story of The Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
For anyone who hasn't read the original book, which I read the book as a kid and I was just like, what? Where she like gets her legs from the sea witch, but it's when she's on Earth, it's like she's walking on knives. So every step hurts, and she doesn't get the prince to fall in love with her. And the sea witch is like, well, you're going to die unless you stab him in the heart with this dagger. And she goes to do it when he and his new wife are in bed. And then she's like, I can't do it because she's a good person. She's a little mermaid. And so the whole threat is that when she dies, and I think about this every time I go to the beach, if a mermaid dies, they become the foam on the ocean wave. So they're part of the ocean, but like not really part of it.
Yeah.
So think about that next time you and your kids are at the beach and tell them what that foam is.
And King Triton is a babe.
Yeah, in the original in the movie, but then also in the original story, her sisters find a way to like kind of save her soul and stuff. That's nice. So the Disney movie, different vibe. But yeah, I loved everything about it. Like, because I feel like you actually get to watch her and Eric like quite fall in love.
Yeah.
I feel like Sebastian's a great character. Part of Your World, one of the most beautiful songs.
I did actually sing that for my, we did a Disney review when I was in high school, and that was my song.
Such a banger of a song. So the original singer, when she was in the little sound booth trying to record that, she, it was like all lit up, obviously it is, and all the musicians were there and all the tech were there, and she just couldn't get it. So she's like, she had to end up like getting them to shut it off, black it out, and she like sung with her head down. Because she's like, I need to feel like I'm in this underwater cavern. I need to feel like I'm in darkness and I'm picturing a world that I'm not part of, and I can't do that with the light. So I always think of that story when I watch it. Also, I think Ursula might be my favorite villain.
Love her.
Right? Love her. As a kid, horrified. You know what?
Diva. She's such a diva.
I have a lot more respect for her now as an adult. I was like, you were just a working woman and a man like took your crown and you were just trying to figure it out with his bratty daughter who is, so I see her side of it now. But as a kid, that scene, well, there's two scenes where she's terrifying. One is where she pulls herself up into the ship and she pulls herself along really quickly with her hands. Sorry, that's not a kid's movie. And then when she becomes like the giant Ursula and she rises up above the sea, terrifying.
And Poor Unfortunate Souls is a great villain song.
Yeah.
I think I know that there's a little bit of like criticism about it on reflection because Ariel can't speak, and there's the whole kiss the girl bit, and it's like they changed the lyric because I know she doesn't look like she wants it, but she does. Like it was like this whole consent thing, but like it's okay for us to enjoy things in the moment, and that beautiful scene, where they're going through the willows and, the brushing their hair with the fork.
So good.
That's just like so many classics. Do that to this day.
Every time I'm somewhere now where I think there could be a mermaid, I do have a look because part of me does still think that could happen. But I also just think like what you're saying, like I feel like you actually see her and Eric fall in love. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking for now in my Disney stories. I'm looking for a love story that I feel involved in. So like Little Mermaid, such a banger. Yeah. So free. That scene where you see the castle for the first time. Yeah. Will I cry in the pod? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. Right, also, I do think that, I know I said this before, but King Triton is like original daddy.
Oh, yeah. He's so hot. And he's only getting hotter. I guess this is appropriate. He's only getting hotter as I get older.
The abs on him? I'm like, damn.
So hot. And have you seen the Little Mermaid movies that come, like the prequel series where he's like a young hot Triton? Yeah.
Now, we're not going to talk about The Lion King only because everybody loves The Lion King. We know it's a wonderful movie. It's like the highest grossing.
It's not in my top 5.
It for me it is. Like
really? Okay.
So I would say it is one that I watched probably one of the ones that I watched the most. However, it's the most popular one for a reason.
Oh, yeah. No, I do like it, but it wouldn't be on my organic top 5 list.
Yes, but for me it definitely is, but I feel like we don't need to go into that.
Yeah, you guys have seen The Lion King, right? Great, let's move on.
Yeah. Now, the other one that I know is also really basic, but there's
no basic movies here,
is the one that I watched the most as a kid because I had the VHS. If you don't know what a VHS tape is, it's a square little thing that you put in and you used to have to rewind it. I don't know how many Gen Z listeners we have, but the VHS tapes. Aladdin.
Oh my God, I love Aladdin. I know I've said that about every movie, but like I remember I saved up all my birthday money to buy that VHS tape one year. And every point of that story is incredible.
Yeah, so 1992 Aladdin came out. And the reason I think this movie did so well is it was actually the first time that Disney ever used like a big celebrity voice for the cast. Yeah. Before then, they were kind of known, but not known in the way. It was more like
a voice actor, a lot of Broadway stars to get that singing voice. Yeah.
So Robin Williams obviously was the big star of this, and that's the first time they did this, and it is now probably one of the most common things that Disney movies do now is they use the big names to draw people in. Yeah. And so this is the first time it happened. So Robin Williams, 16 hours of
I would believe it.
I would too. And what I wouldn't give to be in that room, 16 hours of improvised content, a lot of which they couldn't use in a Disney movie.
Release the tapes, Disney. Release the unedited tapes.
Release the tapes.
I want to see them.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, and I know, again, there's the story of Robin Williams getting quite upset because he didn't want to be there was some merchandising issues with the sort of head of Disney at the time, but that kind of all got resolved in like the mid-90s, so we can still enjoy that. But, you know, for so many people, particularly people of our age, that was like our introduction to Robin Williams as this comedic star. And also I feel like it was one of the first Disney movies to introduce adult humor that would go over kids' heads.
Yeah. Well, the scene where he goes into a brothel.
Yeah.
Didn't get that as a kid. Probably only got it recently, like last week. But now I've picked it up.
All those like Jack Nicholson like impressions, like all of that. And then I don't know if you've picked up on the like Sebastian coming out of the book. Their scar is in, you know how the Sultan is building the tower?
Yeah, yeah.
If you look very closely, Scar is there, and The Lion King hadn't even come out yet.
Yeah, the way they've started like peppering little bits and pieces
Hidden
through
Mickeys.
movies is so incredible. But yeah, everything about like that. I know they made a lot of script changes around like how Jasmine and Aladdin would meet and like what their dynamic would be, and even changed like who Aladdin's sidekick was going to be and all this sort of stuff. But like the end result of where they landed, I feel like is the perfect kind of like progression of a love story for a movie like that. We're also making her like a lot of the Disney princesses had like a lot of agency and like their own person even in those really early days, but I think Jasmine in particular with the whole like not wanting to settle for a husband and stuff doesn't seem revolutionary now, but like back then for a kids animated movie that was princess centered was huge.
Yeah, well, the fact that she walks in on, you know, Sultan Jafar and Aladdin all talking and she's like, you think you can do this, and like just the way she did that, it was a lot of sort of strength in that. And Prince Ali, one of the best songs of all time.
And same with A Whole New World, one of the best songs of all time. This is what I always say to people when they give me shit for listening to, because I listen to Disney songs pretty much every day, at least multiple times a week. It's my main playlist. And it's not because there's like this regression to childhood. It's because the people who made those songs are the best composers, the best lyricists, the best singers at the time on those projects. So just because they're Disney movies doesn't mean that those songs aren't as good as like a traditional Broadway song.
Well, and we know, I mean, if you know anything about like Disney history, you know that the speaking voice of Jasmine is not the singing voice.
Yes.
So Lea Salonga, who is probably one of the most iconic Disney women of all time, she also sang in Mulan.
Yes.
So it just has the most perfect Disney princess voice. I just think it was such a beautiful, A Whole New World was so amazing. Now, I can't remember his name, but the gentleman who sung for Aladdin, apparently when they were recording A Whole New World, they were like falling in love.
Oh my, yes, I've heard
and
this.
And they dated afterwards.
As if you're singing that song, especially the first time, you're falling in love. It's just, okay, I actually feel a bit seedy for what I'm about to say next, but not to take it away from this whole beautiful moment. But have you seen this whole thing that's happening lately of the hot Jafar?
Oh yeah,
movement?
Jafar's kind of hot.
Yeah, it's not incorrect. When people are doing thirst edits of Jafar.
Oh yeah.
And it's not completely off the table, but as a kid, disgusting. As an adult, a problematic fave.
Yeah, kind of.
He's kind of hot.
So again, it's been very exciting for me because this particular movie, my Mimi has just started asking to watch.
Oh, I love that. Great taste.
On repeat.
What does she think of hot Jafar? Does that come up?
She finds it a bit scary when he turns into the snake.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying.
Quite scary, but she calls it Latin.
Oh.
Which I thought is so fun because the first time she's like, Mama, can I watch Latin? I was like, you want to speak Latin? And then I realized it was Aladdin. But yeah, it's really nice to experience these movies with my kids when they were such core moments of my childhood and seeing them enjoy it. I honestly almost teared up. Like I was so emotional when she liked it.
That is very emotional. Also, it's good life building lessons because not to sound crazy or anything, but kids movies today coddle the kids a bit is my thinking. Back in our day, it's like, oh, Bambi's mother shot in the face. This person dead. You know, this stakes high. Snake attacking you. You know what I mean? Like stakes high, real danger, real problems.
Yes, one of my all-time favorites. I watched that one. The even the Return of Jafar, which was straight to VHS.
Great. Did you ever watch the Aladdin series on Saturday Disney in the morning? Oh my god! Get me to watch that. It's a serialized story of Aladdin and Jasmine. So it happens between the events of Aladdin and Return to Jafar, and it's like mini episodes.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I just think that like Robin Williams just really made that, and it is really one of the most iconic. Okay, what's your next one?
A very special movie that came out in 1998,
Mulan.
Again, a different kind of entry to the Disney princess in terms of like it's based on a legend, but kind of taking away from some of those different storybook elements that we'd seen retold many times. Like my first introduction to the myth of Mulan and like her importance and that story was through this Disney movie.
Yeah.
Which I love because you're watching it and you just like, you as a child, like getting all this information about this person for the first time.
Yeah, and I think that that's what made it so special. And I know that we have Shang, who kind of is like the hero and saves, but the majority of the story is about how Mulan is saving the men, and she's the one, she's the strength. She's, you know, she doesn't want to be, you know, sold off to a man. Like Reflection is one of the most beautiful songs talking about like self-worth and, you know, who do I want to be? And again, the great sidekick, Eddie Murphy as Mushu. Like the fact that they kicked him out, I'm sorry, Disney, the fact that they kicked him out of the live action one.
Yeah, we did need a little bit of Mushu in there. Everything. And again, I think the other thing I love about Disney is like a lot of the lead female characters do feel like the hero, even if they're not doing the more traditional hero role of like picking up a sword or battling. Like they're a hero in a different way. But she did pick up a sword, and even just like doing it in the way she did it to like protect her family and watching her go through. Oh, it's so much. Also, the songs in this, every song, 10 out of 10 banger. Reflection, but also I'll Make a Man Out of You. Is that not one of the greatest?
I can't.
And just also, again, like the fear in that movie and like, again, like the final battle. And
terrifying.
Oh my God, so much. And again, so beautifully done with like the humanity. Oh my God, Mulan, what a classic. Anyway, what's your next one? I'll be here all day.
Okay, my next one is Hercules.
Oh my God, I freaking love Hercules.
Now, the reason I love Hercules is because, number one, I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology, although if we're going to be really finicky about the whole thing, Hercules is actually the Roman name for the myth and Heracles is the Greek name, and this is based in Greek myth. But we won't get into that because we're not, you know, we don't need to do like a full history lesson on Greek mythology. I think the reason this one is a bit of a favorite of mine is because the muses and the gospel element of it, because it's such a nice introduction of a different kind of music in a Disney film. And Meg being this kind of like, I don't want this guy.
I'm
like
obsessed with her.
Don't say I'm in love. And the muses like coming in. And I love that the key, apart from Go the Distance, the key music comes from the muses and the key music is gospel music. And James Woods, who plays Hades, actually says it's one of his favorite roles of all time.
Yeah, I would believe that. Wait, do you know who is the voice of Hercules? It's Tate Donovan, who is Marissa Cooper's dad from the OC. So think about that next time you're watching it. Yeah, kind of takes the sexiness out of it. No, he was hot at the time. I love Hercules for so many reasons. One, I just think the story is so beautifully told. And again, the stakes are so high. The songs are incredible, but I love Megra as a character because again, I think like, again, I love all my Disney princesses equally, but also seeing someone who wasn't seen as like traditionally like good and like virtuous. And she's just, she's a street smart lady who knows what's going on. And I think their love story is one of the best because it feels really earned at the end.
Yeah.
When he jumps into the souls at the end. And is that the most romantic thing you've ever seen?
Beautiful. I also really love another reason why I like this is because they use the classic Greek myth. You know, we've got Hercules is 7 missions.
Yeah, the seven tasks he has to do.
There's
Yeah,
7 tasks.
Things he has to kill.
We've got, the Hydra, there's the 3-headed dog, there's there's all of these myths that come into it, but then they do like the Air Jordan thing where Fear and Panic are wearing like the squeaky shoes and drinking the Hercules thing.
Yeah.
Like putting all of those like modern 90s elements into it and like the fandom of Hercules. I think that just kind of lightens it and makes it really fun. And that's what made me really enjoy it.
There's so many like live action adaptations of Hercules with these incredible script
Oh my God,
writers.
Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, hot. I wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah, there's all these TV shows and movies, and I actually have to say, controversial opinion, I think the animated movie captures like the essence of Hercules as a character the best. This struggle between being a god and being a human and like what he faces and stuff. It captures it in a way that the big screen adaptations don't. Also, Danny DeVito as Phil.
Yes, beautiful.
His song that he sings in the movie, I play that a lot. It's one of my favorite walking to work songs.
Yeah, it's really,
I don't know why.
It's really
just so good. The beat is so good. Oh,
I also just really love the representation of all the other gods.
Yes.
Like how they're all quite like, they're like pink and blue, and like Mount Olympus looks really magical, and it's just, it's a really pretty interpretation of this Greek myth that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. And I honestly think that that's kind of what started my obsession with Greek mythology.
Oh, I love that. And also, I don't usually say this, but bring on the live action. I actually do want to see this live action because I can't picture in my head how they would do it, so I want to see it.
They are talking about it, but I think there's been some discussion about the muses, but they need I
actually want to see this one.
Yeah, they need gospel singers, like amazing gospel singers, to be the muses, and that needs to because they sing most of the songs.
Yeah.
That is the key casting
need
for
to
me.
get them on point. Yes, very much agree.
Okay, Laura.
All right. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't pick a favorite, but I am slightly because I did save my favorite Disney movie until last.
And I don't know what this one is.
It's Beauty and the Beast. Tale as Old as Time, the best Disney movie of all time, in my humble opinion, for so many reasons. Like as a kid, obsessed with it. As an adult, still obsessed with it. I just think that, again, everything about Belle's character, also not being a princess, that idea of like nothing I wanted more as a kid was that idea of like being in that like a farm girl, or that idea of like wanting to break it. Not that I was a farm girl, but that idea of like feeling like you were living a small life and wanting to break out into a bigger one.
Yeah.
Like that line where she's like, I want much more than a provincial life. And I still think about that.
And look, there goes Belle. She's strange but special.
Yeah.
So like that, just because she's got her nose in a book and she's like running around, like it's just, it kind of hits.
Yeah, it's an idea of like looking at the heroine of a kid's movie where usually you're thinking like, oh, like, how like when you're little, you'd be like, who's the prettiest princess and who has the best dress? We used to talk about that in depth a lot. Still do, actually, my sisters and I. But also this idea that Belle, like, yeah, she's still the most beautiful girl in town. It's very important for a Disney movie for the hero always to be the most beautiful. But that idea of like very smart, not conforming to like this idea of what people want, going off to have this adventure. I love the whole cursed castle. The music is incredible. But again, I just feel like Belle and the Beast love story is so unique. But I also love the idea that the villain is just kind
really
of like
hot.
Really hot. That's important. But also the most terrifying thing you can have, it's a man who thinks that he knows best and is trying to like take away your agency.
Yeah.
And that's way worse than a sea witch or the god of death or anything. It's a dangerous man who thinks he knows better, and that is what Gaston is.
Yeah, and Gaston's song as well is also like one of my favorites.
And he has like one of those traditional Disney deaths too, because if you notice it, like in all those classic Disney movies, you can't have the hero or the heroine kill the villain physically in any way.
Yeah, it's a lot of falling to the death.
Yes, it takes away from them being these pure people, but at the same time, you need the villain to die, so everyone falls to their death.
But it is primarily, if you go back and look at all the Disney movies, most of the villains die from falling to their death. Jafar doesn't actually die.
No.
He just gets locked in a lamp.
Yeah. Ursula does get run through with a ship, but I think that was like, maybe it's because she's a woman. I'm just saying, yeah. They're like, she can die. But like, even especially with Gaston, because it was a human on human death, they had to have Belle like try and save him, but him fall because of his own like wrongdoing. So you're getting a lesson, but your hero comes out of it unscathed.
Yeah, a lot of the times, the villain deaths are not because of the hero; it's because of their own.
Yeah, exactly. And the hero would have tried to stop it.
And Hades was already dead, so
yeah, so he's fine.
Yeah.
So and he came back okay. Have you noticed how the dancing scene in Beauty and the Beast mirrors the dancing scene in Sleeping Beauty?
Yes.
And it's because they were running out of time, so they used the same animation block, which I don't even care. Also, on a note of that, people have said to me when I say it's my favorite Disney movie, they'll be like, oh, but don't you find it a real letdown that she wanted to go have this big life and she ended up getting married anyway? And to that I say, she still got married in a magical castle to a magical prince, full of books. And she's probably, in my head, she went and had many adventures after that. So I don't feel like she was a failure.
And I think, I don't know, I feel like we keep saying this is the best song, but Tale as Old as Time.
Oh my God, so good.
Definitely does top in terms of like the Disney catalog. Works as a theme song for the whole of Disney, really.
It has become the Disney song, yeah. Angela Lansbury, 10 out of 10 for that song. Oh, everything. And also voiced by one of my favourite Broadway stars, Paige O'Hara, who voices Belle, and her voice is so beautiful.
And I actually quite liked the live action.
Yeah. I liked elements of it.
We don't need to go into
Beauty and the Beast, 10 out of 10 and magical. Every time I see that, like that opening scene of the castle, like my heart starts to beat. And Disney movies are just the best.
I know, they make us feel, I know people get made fun of. I know there's like these things that can be problematic, but do not ruin my childhood.
Hey, you know what? A good movie is a good movie at any age. I tell a lot of adults who like, oh, I haven't seen the original Little Mermaid or I haven't seen Aladdin. And I was like, sit down and watch it, because good dialogue and good songs and good storytelling, just because it's animated, it transcends that. Let us know your favourite Disney movies. Obviously, we missed a few, but your favourite Disney movies we can add to the list. And I can't wait to walk home from work today, because that Disney playlist on my phone is going to be pumping.
I already did pre-listening before this record.